Yo, what it is, YouTube? Is your boy DC coming back with another bullseye of a video here today on the channel. I want to talk about why your masters might not be hitting hard, and I also want to drop a free PDF down below. You'll see the link talking about this more in depth. Okay, so guys, let's talk about masters, what they're lacking. Let me actually play the track first so we could hear what we're working with.
Fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma go, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme, babe. I know that I'm real, this ain't no sound. You can only find on desktop, yeah. I'm making the room bounce. I'm not even rolling up. It's just ain't a flex, I don't wanna call on them all. Call on them all, it's how it should be. You gon' fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me. If I don't get it.
So you hear what we're working with. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on any of these gem-packed videos, and check the links down below to grab free presets. Okay guys, look, first thing that I want to talk about today is some of the hidden features in some of these mastering plugins that you guys are using, that maybe not even the hidden features, just the features that you just don't know about. All right guys, let's talk about first thing is the attack and the release on your actual limiter. Just always remember that the attack time, the quicker the attack is, the less punch that you're gonna have, the less transients that you're gonna have.
Fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma go, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme, babe. I know.
By nature, a lot of limiters are fast attack, but always understand that last limiter on your master fader, depending on what the plugin is, you might have to look into it, or the settings. You might be literally just be squeezing. You might be squeezing your mix like the Undertaker, about to put somebody into a choke slam and into a tombstone pile driver. You're squeezing and choking the shit out of your mix. So that's another thing to always remember, okay guys? The next thing that we have right here is going to be take advantage of the different modes inside of your limiter, okay? Because sometimes the different modes can change the overall song, the sonic characteristic, especially when it's at the end, because sometimes you might have in a setting like dynamic or punchy that might have a transient designer behind it.
Fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma go, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme, babe. I know that I'm real, this ain't no sound. You can only find on desktop, yeah. I'm making the room bounce.
So the most important thing to do though is have a good pair of headphones so you can hear what's going on, because all of those different modes, they all distort differently. Some of them push the bass forward, others of them kind of take off a little bit of the high end because of the way that it's doing the algorithm, and also the amount of distortion that it's applying to the whole situation. Okay, so most important thing too though, what I would usually do lately is I've been using like transient designers. You feel me? So I will use, this is a transient designer. I hate to give out my gems, but this is a transient designer that I've been using to make my shit hit hard. I will use Ozone Impact, right? This plugin, Ozone Impact. I'll show you another transient designer too, but I'll use Ozone Impact, and then I'll just like listen for my bass. So I only do that because I want to make sure that I'm not touching the 808 too much. I just want to harden everything from the kick upwards.
Fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma go, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D.
Into the of the clap, the snare, and the hat. And that's great when you're working on a damn 2-track beat. You could even take this plugin and throw it on the 2-track beat to make it hit harder.
Fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma go, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me.
add a little bit more bounce to a track, try to use the transient designer after your first limiter or before your final limiter, and then now you're starting to boost the transients into the limiter. That's another idea you can play with. Of course, another plugin that you guys can use is always going to be Spiff. If you have the Spiff plugin, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start off on flat, and you're going to want to bring in a filter because you don't want to harden the lows. You know what I mean? You just want to do it from that crossover point.
Fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'm a grown man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. Didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme, babe. I know that I'm real, this ain't no sound. You can only find on desktop, yeah. I'm making the room bounce. I'm not even rapping, no. It's just ain't a flex.
This is a great technique that I like to use because sometimes when you use a limiter, you will literally change the whole balance of the mix. Like the vocal might be way louder or the claps might sit back way more into the mix, all because you just brought in a limiter and you're limiting like 2 to 3 dBs. It changes like the balance of everything. So I like to use like the transient designers to kind of like aim. Like I'm using it kind of like a scope in Black Ops. I'm using the transient designer to aim into the freaking limiter. You feel me? Or I'm using it because I'm already limiting now. I'm trying to like boost or bring things down. So that's another great way that I love to use the Spiff to get pro masters. Now, when it comes to like getting the masters to sound clean, I would also recommend to always do maybe just a little bit of a dynamic processor, very light, such as Soothe, just because it's going to massage the distortions. All right. So it's like a masseuse. It pretty much massages the distortion because, of course, you're going to probably be trying to clip your vocal. If you're trying to get for the Yeet Playboy Cardi song, you're going to be using analog modeled plugins that are going to be bringing in, analog distortion. And, maybe you want to use these things when all that distortion starts to pile up, all that syrup starts to become too sweet. You want to use something like a Soothe or do just a basic frequency sweep, just 2 to 3 notches on your master bus. That's going to remove some of that mid-range. It's going to mostly be in the mid-range distortion that will add up.
Fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'm a grown man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. Didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out. Nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme, babe. I know that I'm real, this ain't no sound. You can only find on desktop, yeah. I'm making the room. Call on them up, it's how it should be. You gon' fall in love with me, you gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Then I can't explain in a short time. Didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme, babe.
So just by going there into the actual mid channel and just doing a couple of notches, because it's okay if it's on the sides, that's whatever. But in the actual mid channel where that vocal is living at, that's what's going to muddy up your vocal and make it lack clarity so that it's not cutting through. So that's why it's great to take advantage of the frequency sweeps, right? And, always set the master limiter first so you can actually hear the distortion. That's why I do the master limiter first, then I start working backwards so I can hear the distortion and I start cutting out that distortion. You feel me? Because you need the limiter to get the song to be loud, but the limiter is going to bring distortion. So the most important thing is for you to hear what the limiter is going to sound like when it does 2 to 3 dBs. You can say, you say, okay, now I see how the cake is going to get baked. I see how it's going to get baked. So now I got to start to work backwards to see, okay, I need an egg. I need a spatula. I need a whisk. I need flour. Now you're starting to see what ingredients you need. You're working backwards because you know what the end is in your mind. Okay. And that's why you also use the Soothe too, because with the Soothe, as well as this, just doing a couple notches is going to open up the mix.
Fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'm a grown man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. Didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's It's too much for me, this game, babe.
Only listen to the vocal. Just doing these little cuts, it brings sparkle.
Fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma go, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. Didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me, this game, babe. I know that I'm real, this ain't no sound. You can only find on desktop, yeah. I'm making the room bounce. I'm not even rolling up. It's just ain't a flex, I don't wanna call on them all. Call on them all, it's how it should be. You gon' fall in love with me tonight, you gon' call me.
Now it sounds like the vocal just has its own space, it has its own pocket, and everything sounds better. So this was the main idea of the video today: how to get rid of like distortion inside of your mixes, and like why the distortion from the master limiter, which is what you need anyways, could be blocking you from the reason why your vocals don't sound bright. You know, because sometimes you gotta just remove some stuff to make other things come out, right? So boosting EQ can only go so far, but if you can apply this technique to your mixes, you can get your mixes to sound open, you can get your vocals to cut through and be pristine like your favorite artists. So down below, don't forget, I'm also going to drop a free PDF going more into how to get rid of distortion and master limiting distortion. You guys will see it down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel to double check to make sure you get all the free presets, as well as you don't miss out on the video, you don't miss out on the gems. Appreciate you now, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.